Hello. Hello, replay viewers and anyone who's tuning in live. I am Brett Larkin from Brett Larkin Yoga on YouTube, if you don't know who I am. And I like to help people live their best lives using yoga as a medium to achieve that. So really finding a personalized yoga practice that works for you. Hey, Alexis, and hey, everyone who's joining. So you can give me a little namaste emoji if you're on Periscope, if you know who I am and if you've been here before. And this is an awesome time to share. Thank you, Bren, for sharing. We have a really fun topic today, which I'm excited to share with you guys. Oop, and I just see that this is blocking this. Let me see if I can move this over. Wow, there we go. Hey guys, what's up? So let's do a quick accountability check-in because I'm good. Thanks for asking. We're in the midst of our core training plan right now. So many namastes. Hey, you guys. Make sure to tap the screen for hearts as well. And you can give hearts on the replay if you're watching this on the replay. In classes Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and the weekend for the next 2 weeks, all core focus, which is actually something I've never done before myself, is like that much core focus in my yoga practice. So I am 30 years old. So let's do a quick accountability check-in. Give me a 1 in the chat wherever you're watching, just the number 1 if you are doing the core training plan with us and you did it today. You would like to offer your services. Okay, cool. All my info, guys, is in my Periscope bio. 1, lots of 1s. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so I did it too, and I didn't get to do it until 3:30 in the afternoon, which was a huge bummer. But I was so glad that I did it. So, okay, so, and if you're interested in joining the core training plan, Alicia, no, it's not free. It's free if you're in my membership community, Uplifted, which is like super, super cheap. So check out Uplifted, brettlarkin.com/uplifted, and it's included in that. And that link is in my Periscope bio. Hey from Brazil. Okay, so the concept I wanted to share today, and in Uplifted, we also have a book club. Also, how many Uplifted folks are on here? Can you give me a 2 in the chat if you're a member of my Uplifted community, just so I know how many of you are here, because I can also, yay, 2s, I can also address some questions. We also have a book club inside of Uplifted, and I'm going to be doing some Periscopes specifically on the book we're reading this month, which is The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, next week. And I just released the member-only podcast about the book, so you want to check that out if you haven't already, and I will speak slower. It's just the comments are so fast that I try to keep up. So guys, there are new podcasts in brettlarkin.com/podcast. And there's a member-only podcast on The Miracle Morning if you haven't listened to that yet and you're a member. So become a member if you're not. I'm really just announcing it on live streams at this point. brettlarkin.com/uplifted. I give you personal feedback on your yoga poses and tons of other cool stuff. Okay, so this is the big analogy that I wanted to introduce to you guys today that I'm really excited about. So tap the screen for hearts if you're excited. This is the last moment to share if you're going to share, because we're like digging into the scope topic right now. What I wanted to do is, how many of you are familiar or have seen the Indian god Arjuna? I hope I'm saying his name right. He has the big bow and arrow, and you often see him on a chariot, and he's all over all sorts of, like, he's all over Hindu mythology. He's everywhere in India. There's like statues of him. You may have seen like little statues of him. Yeah, big arrow. Okay, so some of you are familiar with him. So basically, he's the main character in the I'm not going to say it right, Bhagavad Gita, which is a yogic text. It's like there's the Yoga Sutras and the Bhagavad Gita is the other really big one. And he's a warrior. And what I thought was really fun was that this idea of the bow that he carries as a warrior as an analogy for a lot of our yoga poses. And I was talking to a yoga teacher about this yesterday, but so much of what I talk about in the physical practice, and I'm going to loop it all into life and the non-physical by the end of this scope. Just give me a minute. But I want to start with the physical. Hey, Brenda. I want to start with the physical, that this bow and arrow. So you know how when you pull back a bow and arrow, there's that tension, right? Even if you've never done archery. Has anyone done archery? Give me a yes in the chat if you've actually done archery. You pull back the bow and there's tension. So that tension, that dynamic opposition is something that we want to be feeling in every yoga pose. And I'm going to give you guys some concrete examples of this because it's something we've been talking about, like in our pose reviews, in Uplifted and everything else. But like, for example, dancer pose, you guys are going to see my socks, but they're colorful, right? Where you're pushing and kicking the foot into the hand and the hand into the foot, right? Or even if you're on your knee and doing this one, right? Where you're pushing foot into hand and hand into foot to open the chest, right? That's that dynamic opposition, like the bow. And same thing, you know how a lot of the times I talk about like move your arms slowly, like you're moving through water or something like that, or press your hands away. That's you creating dynamic opposition in your body, because I could just lift my arm and lower my arm. I'm not working. But if I activate through the fingers, create that opposition, all of a sudden this is water, honey, and resistance, or molasses, I call it sometimes. Yeah, totally. And Amanda, who's part of our Uplifted community, I felt bad. Yes, Shannon, you're a genius. You beat me to it. You guys are so smart. You guys are like the most amazing people. I'm so lucky I get to hang out with you. Hey, Leanne on YouTube, you're watching at work. Awesome. Shannon literally beat me to it because I was just about to tie this to your legs in all the warrior poses. So Amanda, who's in our Uplifted group, I felt bad because on our live call where I reviewed all your poses, she had a question about what her legs are doing and I didn't answer it because there was so much going on in the call and it was such a fun call. But what's happening with your legs, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show it, but like if these are your legs, they're moving in towards one another. So like your heels are moving towards one another, even when you're just standing still. And it's this dynamic opposition. And this dynamic opposition is something I really want you to feel in all the poses in yoga. It's really powerful. It's really going to take your practice to the next level. So it's sort of this like sweet spot between effort and ease as well, right? Because we don't want to strain too much, but we also don't want to just be hanging out. It's that perfect resistance, like when the bow is really primed to take off, when you have that perfect resistance, and you can tie this into martial arts as well. Yeah, when you do Tadasana that way, it becomes really challenging, Mester says. And have you ever seen people do martial arts or like Tai Chi and they're like doing all sorts of cool stuff? They're also creating their own resistance, and fire comes from that as well. Yeah. So it's like, it's tensing. I don't like to use the word tense because I feel like that has a negative connotation. But it's like feeling energy in the body and having that resistance. And the best way I like to think of it is this pose where you're pushing the foot into the hand and the hand into the foot at the same time, right? So you're moving, you have that dynamic opposition and resistance. And you said, yeah, you did Taekwondo and they have the muscles are tense even in relaxed poses. Yeah, I'd say like maybe the muscles are engaged even in relaxed poses is like a nice way to think of that. So guys, let me know what questions you have about this. And then to take it a step further, because I'm always trying to tie all this back to our life, right? Because it's cool to do dancer pose or whatever on the mat, whoa, right? But like, how does it really affect our life day to day? And one thing I really liked with the analogy of the arrow and this balance and this resistance, this grace with which we're living our lives is I really like to think of it as, has anyone ever struggled with finding, give me a yes in the chat if any of you have ever really struggled with finding the balance between working too hard and like not working enough. Has anyone struggled with that? Shannon says yes. Like working too hard and not working enough, right? It's hard to play that balance. Yeah, you guys know what I mean, right? It's like you don't want to slack off, but you also don't want to drive yourself too hard. And I find that with myself a lot, something I'm always working on. And when I thought about the arrow and I started thinking about it in all these poses, I was like, you know, this kind of ties back, because when you're in that poised state, like the arrow is primed, there's like equal I don't want to say tension, but like equal tension. Anyway, that's when you're living in your zone. Like that's alignment, right? Because you're in this space between this like perfect space that's between effort and ease. You're not going too hard and you're not going too easy, right? Because if I were like here, the bow would kind of like flop and not go anywhere. And if I were like, took it way too far back, the bow would go crazy and like hurt someone, right? But it's like that perfect midpoint, that resistance point, that we can tie it into sort of how we think about our life as well. Or I was like thinking about it in terms of overworking myself, because I find that if I slack off, I don't feel good about myself. But if I work too hard, I drive myself into the ground. That's not good either. It's like, how can you find that place where everyth's aligned and balanced? And that's where the arrow's really gonna hit a bullseye, right? Bullseye. I'm like making this up as I go along, this last part, but it was just like, I thought that was fun. So give me just like a yes or some hearts in the chat if you like this little quick sesh. And my abs are definitely burning. Yeah, the analogies are fun, right? Because it's really interesting to think about, like, how do we not drive ourselves into the ground, but challenge ourselves enough that because you want some challenge, right? And that to me is now where that bow is like in that perfect point when stuff is aligned and you have that dynamic resistance. You're not slacking, but you're not working too hard. That's, again, coming back to the definition of what yoga really is, which is, you know, balance, union. Hatha means sun and moon. It's like bringing your sun and moon qualities into balance. And I really like that, just tying it to the arrow of that Indian or Hindu god, which is really fun. So yeah, just think of that. I'm glad you like the visualization, because I want you to start bringing that into the physical asana practice as you do your poses this week. Is just thinking about that dynamic resistance in the body and where can you find that. And yeah, and if you are completely new to this scope and my community at large, like this is the first you're seeing or hearing any of this, you want to join the free Facebook group. It's yoga, HACKS community.com, yogahackscommunity.com. And kisses to you from Paris. Thanks so much for tuning in. So guys, let me know if you have any last questions about anything going on right now. Again, we're doing our core training week. All of those videos are downloadable and free as part of Uplifted, my membership community. The link to that is in my Periscope bio. And it's brettlarkin.com/uplifted. Otherwise, just join and hang out with us on Facebook, yogahackscommunity.com, yogahackscommunity.com. So much love, you guys. Go to the gym. I see a lot of people saying they're going to the gym. That's good. I'm really glad we all did our ab workout today. I'm really enjoying the ab train plan so far. I filmed the nervous system reset flow that you guys requested. I know that was a request, was like a nervous system class. So I filmed that yesterday. It's in editing. And a 60-second fix for table pose, reverse table, that one. Mester, is that what you meant? Or let me know what table pose you meant, or you can also put in the Facebook group. And yeah, I will check in again, hopefully tomorrow or Friday. Okay, that one. Okay, good note. And yeah, the nervous system flow is coming up soon, and I'm filming a bunch of stuff this week that was requested in our Facebook group. So heart it up for our final moments together. And thanks so much, you guys, for hanging out. I always love speaking with all of you. Huge namaste and love. Bye.